Hey folks, this is Ryan from ORS Cross Country Skis Direct in Vermont, and I have in my hand the Fischer BCX675 backcountry boot. This boot we're pretty excited about. We go to shows, we look for 3-pin backcountry boots, and we want them to be powerful. We want them to, be able to turn a ski. That's what they're designed for, is for control. That's why you're using a 3-pin over a system boot. And so the first thing we do when we see a new boot is we pick it up and we try to twist it with our hands. And you would be amazed at the difference across the board. When we picked up this boot, we immediately noticed how laterally stiff it is. And what that means is when you're trying to make a turn, the ski is going to respond. That's huge. You don't want the boot flexing on you, losing all that power that you're trying to drive into the ski. A lot of that comes from the Vibram sole, but also the construction of the boot itself. And kind of a quick overview of the boot. It's got a plastic heel counter, and that really stiffens up, helps to stiffen up the whole sort of bottom of the boot. Plus, it resists sort of wearing out on you. So, the heel of a boot takes a lot of abuse, and with a plastic heel counter, that's going to really keep that thing stiff for many, many, many years. As you move up, then you get to what's called the flex cuff, which is this nice articulating cuff, and it will move freely, so when you're kicking and gliding, you're not going to really notice that it's there. But when you use the power strap and you're going downhill, that adds a ton of lateral stiffness to drive your ski. It also has this little adjustment here, which will take out any play that you have and keep your heel locked down. Other than that, it's insulated with Thinsulate, and I'm sure you've heard of that name before. So it's super warm in cold temps. And it has a nice neoprene lace cover, a nice stretchy neoprene lace cover that's easy to use. We really hear a lot of people complaining about lace covers, but this thing is stretchy and there's plenty of room, so you'll have no problem zipping that up over your laces. So it's a really, really great backcountry 3-pin boot. Now, why would you choose a 3-pin boot over a N&N BC system type boot? Mainly because nothing beats the power you get with the 3-pin binding. And it's mainly because when you engage the boot into a 3-pin binding, you're getting power to the ski from the ball forward. All of this is turning the ski. So when you get up on edge, you're turning the ski with all of this part of the boot. Unlike an N&N BC style where you step down with a little tow bar, and it's really just at the very end. So you get the most power with a 3-pin setup. And as far as bindings, we've got, starting out with the basic 3-pin HD by Volet, and then we've got the cable bindings over there. But before I get into bindings, let's just talk about the skis first. When you decide on what type of ski you want, then you got to think about the boot. You got to have a boot that can power the ski for what you're looking to do. You also don't want a boot that's overkill either. So it's a really, picking the right boot is critical. And this particular boot really can work pretty much across the board. You might think it's overkill on like the BC70 or the BC90, but actually on the 90 I wouldn't say it is. By the way, both of these boots or skis you'll see have the N&N BC bindings on them, and that works with, really quickly, an N&N BC boot that has the bar. And again, when you click in to this type of binding, there we go. We'll cut that. All right, so when you click into this, there we go. When you kick and glide and you take your heel off the ski, you're only connected at the very, very toe. So that's why the N&N system is really good for touring, but not as good for downhill control. Anyway, back to what we were talking about initially here. 3-pin backcountry boots have a lot more oomph. They're heavier, but they are designed for more power. And this boot is nice because it's not a full plastic 3-pin, so it's not overkill. It's not going to be super heavy. It's going to be pretty comfortable when you're touring, but it's going to turn a pretty wide ski. Again, not a bad choice, but really more suited for wider skis like the BC90 would be great. Super happy on the Mod Zeus Eon right here. And again, we've got that mounted with the Volet HD 3-pin binding. Awesome match on the Alpina Light Terrain. Moving on to the Mod Zeus Epic. Great choice there. Alpina Cross Terrain, also a good choice. And then when you get to the next two skis, the sort of the widest skis that we offer, the Annam and the BC125 by Rossignol, you can certainly put those on there. You know, on the Anim, I think it's a great setup, and for people who don't want the extra weight of a plastic boot, they're not 100% going downhill, they're doing a lot of kicking and gliding around, they like a wide ski for the flotation and that sort of thing, this is a great choice. Also on the BC125, same kind of deal. You know, if optimum downhill control 100% of the time isn't your one priority, then you like a lighter weight boot that's going to feel more comfortable when you're gliding and kicking around. Not a bad choice at all. So, you know, this boot really can work in any of these skis. It's a super comfortable boot. We're super psyched about it. As far as bindings, you saw the 3-pin HD. Doesn't have a cable. When you add a cable, you're really improving your downhill control. So starting off with the Volley 3-pin cable here, it's got the expansion spring cable that can come off nice and easily. So the nice thing is, you can take it off when you're kicking and gliding on a tour, and then when you get to the top, you hook it back on. It wraps around your boot, and it will stiffen up that entire interface to the ski and give you a lot more power. You could also match it up with the hard wire, which is instead of a flexible spring, it's a metal rod, and that really gives a lot more lateral stiffness. And the cable actually also does come off as well on the 3-pin hard wire. Those are the 3 best binding choices for the Fischer BCX675 boot. So think about backcountry and control, yet not so heavy duty as a plastic boot. This is a really, really great choice. Once again, Fischer BCX675. Thanks for watching. I'm Ryan from ORS Cross Country Skis Direct.